Hello and welcome to episode 3 from my podcast, Marketing Buzz Down Under. As always, I'm your host, LJ from MobiWeb. And today there are no guests. It will be just me. And I thought it would be such a great ending for the year to talk more about myself, my experience, and how we came to building our own boutique agency, MobiWeb, and answer a few questions that I always get from business owners. I know I want to always try to keep this podcast less technical, but talking to so many different business owners, whether they are my clients, potential leads, or even people that I meet within the co-work space that I'm at, they always seem to have this common thread of questions. So I kind of put them all together and I will go through them one by one. But first, let's start to talk about who LJ is and a little bit of more of my experience. I started digital marketing back in 2010. So that was way back. So at that time, we didn't really have any textbook about marketing, social media, digital marketing, not marketing. Social media was just a new thing. It was the new kid on the block. At the time, I think there was Facebook. I think there was YouTube, and definitely there was Twitter. And funnily enough, the person that introduced me to social media is my now business partner. He had his own animation studio and I was wanting to work with them. I was trying to find a new career path, and he suggested that I take a look at social media. And that was the start of a career that lasted me for 13 years, 3 different countries, and lots and lots of clients, experience, and lots of techniques, so many updates, so many changes. So I started as a social media manager. I think one of my first real achievements was getting around 15,000 active users to an online platform with having 0 budgets. So back in the day, we were able to do that with organic content. All you needed was just to produce really good content. Probably not as great as it is right now because competition was very low. And I was able to get that. Then because of the situation back home in Syria, we had to move to Dubai, and that's where I worked on different platforms. I worked as a freelancer. I worked with the government of Dubai, and then I worked at a food and beverage company as their social media manager. And there I learned a lot about social media, growing audiences on Instagram. I had an account that I actually grew up to 50,000 followers as well on Instagram without any advertising or any of that sort. So it was all organically. And that was my second big achievement when it comes to social media marketing. Then I got to learn more about Google Ads and the importance of Google Ads, because in my head, I'm like, I don't think Meta, which is now Meta, but Facebook and Instagram are going to last forever. And I wanted another revenue stream kind of where I am confident, and Google was a really good platform for that. So I learned Google Ads, and then when we moved to Australia, that's when I was introduced to SEO. So that was like 6 years ago. So as you can see, my experience delves into really so many things. So entrepreneurs, worked with corporates, worked with small businesses. And I find that very enriching, because when I look at a lot of people running agencies at the moment, I find myself very lucky because I went through the waves, if you want to call it, of social media. I had to sign up to new platforms. So first it was Facebook, then Facebook, I think, started to die down. Then there was Instagram, then Facebook bought Instagram. And then you had YouTube, Twitter. Now Twitter is called X, and TikTok. So I was really fortunate to have the ability to work across all those platforms. And finally, SEO, the world of SEO, like the vague world of SEO. For some people, it feels very vague and like, I don't know, like a black market where you don't understand what's happening. But again, I think I was lucky enough to be working at a big agency where I had a portfolio of 90 clients in Australia. So can you imagine all the different industries that I had to work on, the insights, the information, the differences, the different sizes of businesses. So all that got me to a point during COVID. So my business partner and myself, we thought, okay, we're so done working for others. And especially during COVID, I felt that there was a need for boutique agencies who know what they're talking about and they really want to help out. And a lot of businesses can't afford to pay thousands and thousands of dollars a month to provide digital marketing. And I think during the COVID period, a lot of businesses realized that if you can't be online or if you're not online, you are missing out. So I think the only good thing for the industry during COVID was this shift that business owners had and realized that online is the new big thing. So we started MobiWeb mid-COVID. I actually quit my full-time job. So I did what a lot of people wouldn't do. So I just totally quit my job and with my business partner started MobiWeb on the basis that we really just want to provide personalized service. We want to educate our clients and we want to deliver the best. That's why we try to just take a handful of clients, ones that we can help, ones that want to be helped, and ones that want to work with us and trust us. And we will provide a similar trust relationship where we actually educate them along the way. So that's our story, short version of the story. But yeah, I just thought I wanted to share it with you because I never really had the time, or I never talked about it on this podcast. So I thought it would be a good idea to share it with you. Now I think it's the time to talk about frequently asked questions, or a lot of the questions that I get from my clients, people that I know, prospects, etc. I think if you're a business owner and you really want to get into online marketing, whether it's through Google or through social media platforms, you really need to understand why you're doing this. So is it the right platform for you? What is the right platform for you? Are your audiences on that particular platform? And if you start advertising there, would you actually reach out to them? So if you're a business owner and you're listening to this and you know that everyone around you and probably your competitors are actually doing some sort of digital marketing, I really invite you to think of the following questions before you even reach out to any agency, any professional, even if you decide to do it on your own. I really want you to think of the following questions and answer them. So question number one is, who are my target audience and where will they be? Where are they spending their time? So when you say who are my target audience, I would say think of what their age is, what do they do in life, probably how much money do they earn, just so you know who you direct your message to. And then think of their behaviors outside of working hours or even during working hours. And think of how will they reach out to you. So I'll give you an example to make it easier. If you're a service provider, let's say you are an electrician, a plumber, any sort of trades, do you have nice imagery that you actually want to share with the world? If the answer is no, because probably you're mostly on the service side of things. So if you're an electrician, basically your bread and butter is fixing everything and probably doesn't look so glamorous on camera. So most probably my advice to you is go to Google, because when people are thinking about your service, they are going to go to Google because they want to find a provider that is probably close to them, that probably has good reviews, and they want the job done. So they're not really browsing on their Instagram and then think, oh, I like this picture of, a socket on the wall. That's not going to happen. So your most and best bet is that you need to be on Google, regardless whether it's organic through SEO, which is what I'll explain later, or through ads, which is through Google Ads. And if you get to that point and realization that, oh, okay, I really need to be on Google, that's when you think about the budget. Do you have a massive budget, or is your budget limited? Another thing that you need to think about is how soon do you want those leads to come through? So, for example, let's say that you depend on word of mouth, but you're thinking about getting a new tradie, but you're planning for it. So my advice is go on organic Google, because that's your SEO, because that's going to take time, and that's probably going to take up to 12 months for you to start getting regular inquiries to your website from Google. But if you don't have that many calls coming through or form submissions on your website, and you're like, oh, I really need to make that extra cash, my advice to you is invest into Google Ads. Although it might be competitive in your industry and you might have to spend $100 a day as a minimum, but you know that you're probably going to get anything between, with a healthy budget, you might get anything between 3 to 5 inquiries a day, which if you make the calculations in your head, you might actually get your return on investment quite quickly. So that's what I advise you to think. Like, that's the way you should be thinking of what channel you should be on. And when you talk to a digital marketing agency or a marketing expert, or even if you decide to do it on your own, answering those questions will help you not be burnt by some sort of a agency, or, you know, you pay the money, or you probably only have $1,000 to invest and you're like, no, but I want the ads. I'm telling you now, it's probably not going to work out. So just be smart with that. Or even if you decide to go with social media because you don't have the budget, your expectations of a conversion rate, which means how many people are going to click on your ad and be serious about that particular job that they're looking for, will drop. Because to be honest, if I'm on social media, I'm probably window shopping. So I'm not thinking about a problem that I have right now that needs fixing. But if I see an ad that I like about, let's go back to the original example, an electrician, I'm like, oh, this sounds good. They have really good reviews. I've been thinking that I need to change the lights in my living room. Yeah, I'll probably call them. But then I'm probably just not in the mindset that I want to make a purchase now. So I might call you, but then depending on the price you give me, depending on so many other factors, I might not make that purchase. So again, think of the situation, your budget, where your target audience are, and make a decision based on that. So that would be my advice to you. That way, you don't get burnt out by other marketing agencies or marketing professionals, or you might say, oh, I spent thousands of dollars on SEO and I didn't go anywhere. I got no return on investment. So all these things are very important while you're making that decision. So make sure that you are thinking about them before you reach out to anyone, so you're able to ask them those questions. And if your marketing agency is not asking you those questions, I would say just run because they probably don't know what they're doing, or they probably just want to sell, or they probably just want to sell you whatever services they provide. But when you want to talk to a marketing expert, make sure that they understand, make sure that they're asking you those questions, because based on your answers, that would be the recommendation for which channel you should be marketing and promoting your services on. All right, going back to our first question. What is SEO and how does it work? Like, I get that question all the time. People might have heard about SEO from a mate or from a competitor, and they come to me and they're like, LJ, I want to do SEO. And I will go through the questions that I just told you about, because that will answer me and let me know if you really need SEO or not. So the simplest explanation for SEO is you having a position in the search results of Google. What does that mean? So, you know, when you go to Google and type in a query, it can be electrician near me, it can be best coffee place next to me, and then you will find a few results that show up organically, which means there is no ad next to it. That's your SEO. Now, why is it so important? Because there is a joke. I think it's such an old joke now. Nobody says it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There was a joke back in the day that said, if you want to bury or hide a dead body, hide it on the second page of Google search results. Because technically no one really clicks on next. And I want to ask you this question. Do you actually, after the first 10 or with the Google Maps and the ads, do you actually move to the second page? 9 out of 10 times you don't. So you really need to be ranking on those top 10 positions, ideally in the top 5, because that's where people are searching. And if they want to do like market research, they will call probably the first 5. And with the ads, you have 3 or 4, and with the maps as well. So technically it's going lower and lower, and it's getting harder and harder to achieve that presence and to achieve that position. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. Why is it called that? Because when you want to run an SEO campaign, you're actually making sure that your website is well optimized so Google can see it as a good website, a good source of information for a particular search query, and they will put you on top. So that's why the name SEO is search engine optimization. SEO has gone through heaps of changes throughout the past 10 years, for example, but it only got better because back in the day, Google only cared about keywords, and I'll explain more what keywords mean. But they only cared about keywords. A lot of people were doing like dodgy stuff, and you will show up whether your website is worth it or not. But now Google really cares about the quality, and the quality of a website, meaning it has a great user journey. It loads quickly, so you don't have to wait like for 5 or more than 5 seconds for the website to load. You need to have really got content and quality content. So also back in the day, they used to write whatever and they would rank, or it will be like a lengthy article full of fluff and they would just rank. But now Google's changing its ways, because at the end of the day, Google wants the best search result for people. So they always go back to Google. So it's content, comprehensive, answering people's questions, not the salesy, fluffy content anymore. You want to really make sure that whoever reads it understands it and gets the value out of it. In addition to, your website speed and having what we call meta descriptions, good meta descriptions. And I will explain more what meta descriptions are. So basically, that's your SEO. Obviously, in addition to what we call backlinks. I'll explain more about it as well, because that's the second mysterious thing that all people ask me about. Like, what are backlinks and why do we need them? Now, the second question is, people ask me, okay, how long would it take SEO results to show up? And how long would it take me to get good results out of SEO? If you actually go to Google's description of SEO, they tell you it will take anything between 6 to 12 months. And that's what Google says. If anyone promises you that it will take less, don't believe them. And that is true, because I see a lot of people saying, we'll get you on the top page in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, it can happen, and it happened to some of my clients, but there are so many different factors involved. Part of it is the age of the website, how competitive the industry is, what keywords we decided to pick for that particular client, and whether those keywords are competitive, national, generic, or very niche, very specific and local. So technically, if you really want to invest into an SEO campaign, whether you do it yourself or outsource it to a marketing agency or a marketing professional, I would tell you, consider having a budget of 12 months and be like, all right, that's my budget. That's what I'm going to invest. I am not expecting a return on investment before a year, because ideally that's how long it's going to take. We just said you have only limited 10 spots. So you need to show Google that you are worthy of having your website on those top 10 results. So if somebody comes to you and says, I'll get you the results in in 2 months or 3 months, I would say question them and ask them, what do you mean by results? Is it just showing up on the first page? Because yeah, you can show up on the first page for local keywords, niche keywords that probably don't have that much competition. But the question remains, how many people search for that particular keyword? How many people will go to Google and say, I want, I don't know, striped, black and yellow pants for summer Melbourne? So probably only a few people. So that's where, yes, you will rank on the first page, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get your return on investment right away. The third question is, what are keywords and why are they important in SEO? And that's exactly what I was telling you. Keywords are basically what people type into the Google search bar, or even if you use Bing, that's exactly what you're going to type. So that's a keyword. Melbourne electrician, that's a keyword. Family lawyer Melbourne, that's a keyword. Family Melbourne Australia, that's a keyword. Also, navy blue blazer Melbourne, that's a keyword. So anything that you type is actually a keyword. There are 2 types of keyword. There are short tail keywords, the ones that I just explained, like electrician Melbourne, family lawyer Melbourne, etc. And you have the long tail keyword, which is more of a niche. So it's similar to the white and black striped pants Melbourne South Bank. So that's a long tail keyword. Or it could be family lawyer specialized in children's custody Richmond. That's a long tail keyword. Or it could be a question. How can I get more leads for $5 a day? So those are long tail keywords, and the difference between them is, as I said, competitiveness. So obviously the shorter and more generic keywords, they have more competition and higher search volume, which means that more people are searching for those keywords, and they're usually keywords that are very generic. Sometimes, depending on your industry, they might not be helpful for you, because when someone is still searching, they're probably still not ready to make a conversion, a commitment. So we call them informative. So in the example of family lawyer, maybe they're still thinking, like they're not sure what they want. Or it could be family law Australia. They don't know what they want, so they're still starting. Although you will have high search volume, but the conversion rate might not necessarily be high. Whereas the long tail keywords, which are the niche, let's say in the family law example, I know exactly what I want. I want children custody or de facto relationship family lawyer or same-sex marriage family lawyer. I've actually done my research and now I'm ready to convert. So although the search volume might be lower, the keyword might be higher, but the conversion rate can actually be higher. So again, if you're trying to do this on your own or you're talking to a marketing expert, make sure that you discuss those things with them. And they should ask you, like, what are the main services that you want to focus on? Because that's the start of a keyword research. What suburbs do you want to focus on if you want to focus on a local campaign? Meaning that you're a tradie and you only want to work in specific suburbs. So all those questions will help you make a decision on how you build your SEO campaign and how you strategize. Also, there are keywords specifically, we choose them for blogs. So, and they're usually around the FAQs. So again, it could be, what questions can I ask my family lawyer? Or what does de facto mean? So that's when people are wanting to read more. Or how can I get rid of gum pain or tooth pain or remedies for teeth pain? So that's where we will choose as well those keywords to include them into blogs. So that means that people are searching for your website and your website is providing this information. There is a high possibility that when people land on your website, they will go back to it because they either save it or they got the information, or while they're on the blog, they've decided, oh, I can't do it on my own. I'll probably need someone to help me, an expert to help me. So that's why the keyword research is very important in any SEO strategy. So make sure that you get it right. And if you don't like a certain keyword, that's what I always told my clients back in the day when I was in an agency, and I remind them as well. If you don't like a keyword, don't settle for it because that's your business. That's what you're paying for. Some people will charge you per keyword. We don't do that, for example, but if you pay per keyword, make sure that you're choosing the right keywords. Ask for the search volume as well, because the last thing you want is to get 10 or 20 keywords with a search volume of 10. And then you end up getting like 100 searches a month. So what is the percent of people converting once they get to your website? 1 to 3%? That's not going to be enough. So those are very important things that you need to think about, and ask the marketing agency or marketing professional to provide you more information on. There are so many tools that you can use to do your keyword research, things like SEMrush, Moz, Ubersuggest, and the prices vary. Ahrefs as well. So if you're a small business and you're going to do it on your own, probably go with a cheaper option for a start, because, with SEMrush, you might have to pay like $1,000 a month, or anything between 500 to 1,000 Australian dollars. So yeah, you don't have to go SEMrush to get just for keyword research. All right, so we talked about keywords. Now I'm going to talk about the other elephant in the room when I talk to people, which is the backlinks. What are backlinks? And why do a lot of people don't share the backlinks that they're building for you with you? So backlinks, think of them as more like a reference from Google to you. So think of when you go and apply for a job, you provide your CV, which is your website in this scenario, and then most people will ask you for referrals. So you provide them with 2 names, they call them, they certify that what you're saying is right. And it's the same with Google. So your website is your CV, and then the backlinks are basically links that you post on a trusted website, and they will give a link back to you. So the way it works, you ideally, organically, you reach out to people who are bloggers in your industry or write about things that are similar to what you do. And then you write them an article and say, hey, can you post it on your website? Because your website is has high authority with Google and has good traffic. So can you post my blog there? And there will be, for more information about, let's say, dentists in Melbourne, that's when you put the link. So you put the link on the keyword that you want. So that's a backlink, basically. So it's telling Google that the higher trust website is sending traffic to your website, which tells Google that, oh my God, this website is really good. Now, it used to have a very high effect on the rankings back in the day, but again, because Google really cares about content quality and user journey on your website, the importance of having backlinks is dropping. However, it doesn't mean that it's not important. It's still important. So it's always important that you try to acquire more backlinks to your website. And the only drawback about that is that sometimes the blogger can remove that link or can remove that article. That's why it's an ongoing process. So don't think that, I built 10 backlinks and that's it. They might get removed, and that happens all the time. Now, how do agencies get it? There are so many different ways, but a legit way is to actually go to a website. Think of it as a platform that has so many bloggers on it with different categories. So what we do, we go to those bloggers, we check their domain authority, which is how Google sees them. We check their content and we check their traffic, and if we think it's a good fit, we will write an article and send it to those guys and say, hey, this is how we want to please post it on your website, on your blog, and then the blogger will charge us a fee, and that's how we build a backlink. A lot of people will post it on not trusted websites or a website with a low domain authority. So we always try, like that's what you should aim for. Anything that is higher than 30 out of 100 is what you need to be. Anything lower than 30 is not really that effective. So basically that's what backlinks are. And there are websites at the moment, big websites in the market. There are some Australian-based companies as well that provide that service, and they work like the middleman. So they have the connections with lots of bloggers, and you will go to them and they will arrange that for you. They will probably write the content for you, or even if you want to write it, you will write it according to their to the bloggers' terms and conditions. And that's how you build a backlink. But again, yeah, it's an ongoing process because some bloggers will remove your backlink after a while, usually after 6 months or maybe less, maybe more. So keep on building those backlinks because, they're still important. They're probably not as important as content on your website. So if you're struggling, probably just start with providing great content and great speed on your website, and then think about how you build backlinks. So the next question that I want to talk about is, can I do SEO on my own, or do I need to hire a professional? I'm just going to be super honest with you. It's not rocket science. You can probably do it on your own. It's just like anything else. I probably can learn how to change a bulb in my house, or change a socket, or whatever. Or even some people learn how to DIY and build a whole home. But it's really, for me, I am a person who believes that I will give my money and whatever I want to the expert, because it will save me time, it will save me money. So it's up to you. You can go and learn how to do SEO, and you can probably save money, but you're still going to need to put in the time. And if you're not a tech savvy, I would say probably reach out to a professional, to a marketing professional. It's just like whatever service that you're providing. Anyone can do anything these days. You can go to YouTube, you can find like how-tos, you can go to TikTok, whatever your preference. You can buy a book for dummies and learn how to do something. But for me, it's about your time. So think about how much is your hourly rate, and are you willing to take away that hour from your business and invest it into something that someone else can probably do it for cheaper. Like for me, when I do this, the podcast, I can do it on my own, I know, but the quality is going to be different. It's probably going to take me so much time. I will have to invest in a very good camera, have to invest in a very good mic, and I would probably have to spend hours and hours of my time learning how to produce a very good quality video. So I choose to outsource it to Purpose Productions, and they will do it for me. They will edit it, and all I have to do is just show up, talk, and then post it on my social media. So yes, you can do it. And probably if you're a tech whiz, you can probably get so good at it. You actually rank. But my advice to you, from one business owner to another, what I've learned is you actually save money when you focus on one aspect of your business. So in my case, it's getting sales in, account management. And I will just leave this to the experts. So I invite you to think in the same way. But when you want to choose a marketing agency or a marketing professional, I really invite you to ask them lots of questions. Make sure that they know what they're talking about. Make sure that you both are putting a strategy together. Make sure that you're choosing the right keywords for your business, and make sure that you are patient and you have real expectations. So if you're going in and thinking, I'm just going to run it for 3 months and it's an SEO campaign, please don't do it. If you want to do it, it's a minimum of a year, like 12 months. If you want to run ads and your expectations is on Google Ads, I'm just going to pay $20 a day, please don't do it. You're going to lose your money and you will get nowhere. Unless you really just want maybe just a couple of leads a month. So that's it. Have like really realistic expectations. And the final question for today is, does social media impact SEO? Short answer is probably not, but what's good about it is that it drives traffic to you. And if you're sharing your blog posts on your social media, people are sharing them more often, so that sends prompts to Google that actually this is a popular website that's getting traffic from somewhere else, but your social media links are not considered backlinks. So there's something called no follow. So Google sees them as no follow, which means they're not like a backlink with a degree on it or a mark on it. So yes, if you are writing blogs, or if your provider is providing you with blogs, I would advise you to share them on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever you're using, because that will help. And if you're into videos as well, maybe link those videos back to your website, have them on the website as well, because that will only increase the engagement and will drive more traffic to your website. So again, when you think about one channel, I would advise you to think ideally what you want to be everywhere. So you want to be doing your SEO, running your Google ads, and having some social media presence with content and etc. But again, it goes back to your target audience and how much money you're willing to invest into marketing. So always go with the priority based on your goal. Well, that's the end of today's show. I really wish that and I really hope that I've answered some of your questions. Hopefully, if you have any more questions as well, you can send them directly to me or type them in the comments below. And yeah, just ask me any questions, because I'm really an advocate of sharing what digital marketing is, and especially SEO. I'll probably have a similar session to talk about Google Ads, social media, and other aspects as well. So if you're a business owner and you're really not sure where to start, I really invite you to reach out to me. No obligation. I'm not going to sell you anything, but I can answer all your questions. So I can't believe it, but this is the last episode for the year. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I wish that there will be peace all over the world. And I hope to see you next year. Bye for now.